For ages, humans have been addicted to buying shit they don't need. We have searched the earth far and wide to find the most over-the-top things to please our desire for unnecessary shit. This also happens to play the desires of the new system builder of the sacred PC. I see this happen way too much. Someone wants to be a PC gamer, they go out and they want the best, so they seems like they hit the filter button and they just look at the most expensive things they could possibly buy, and that's what they want. So today I'm going to try to educate you on how to build a reasonable PC that can perform really well. My golden rule for PC building is we build the PC for the user. So unless you're going to do some legitimate hardcore stuff on your computer, you don't need a 1080 Ti or a Threadripper. So what I do when I'm looking to begin a PC build is I go to PCPartPicker. Now there's a lot of reasons to use this site. The main one is they have everything and they have it at the cheapest prices you can get. We want to start our system build. So you can see here all the list of parts you could possibly get to build your PC, CPU, cooler, motherboard, memory, storage, video card, case, power supply, optical drive. We're not going to use that. Operating system. I think I have another video I want to do for how to get that. Software, monitor, external storage, and expansion cards. You don't need that. Peripherals, accessories. I don't really care to include these on these builds here. Start off, we get to choose a CPU. So you get a list of CPUs here, and you can list it by rating or by price. Oh god, everything's messed up. It says the top one right here is the 6700K. That's kind of old. I wouldn't get new 9th gen. There's like no reason to. I would probably, if it was me, I'd probably get the 8600K variant. If you wanted to, you could go into your BIOS and overclock it, or use the XMP profile settings. And I think if you look right down, where's the 8600? So like this. Search 8600. So that's $250 for that. Yeah, so 8600K, $9 more. Might as well go that route. Difference between the K and the no K, one can be overclocked, one cannot. It's kind of an Intel thing, since AMD will let you do it on anything. Now, you might ask, why not get the i7? Well, here's why. i7 from the one generation before, and an i5. These new i5s are really good compared to the history of Intel. But the main reason is, for gaming, you don't need an i7. Hate to break it to you, you don't need hyper-threading. I'm sorry. Alright, for coolers, for new builder, you might want to get the Hyper 212 Evo. It's like a nice, good starting cooler before you start doing crazy shit. You might want to get an all-in-one liquid cooler. If you had a window in your computer and you wanted your computer to look nice, the all-in-one liquid coolers really help make your computer feel slimmer because you don't have a big-ass cooler come off of your CPU, and they look cleaner. So you would want to go the route for an all-in-one, but if you're trying to get it on a budget and don't want to spend like $100 more for looks, Hyper 212 Evo is the way to go. A motherboard. This comes down to mainly looks. So PCPartPicker knows that, so they have colors right here of motherboards that are compatible for your system. So let's say I want a black motherboard. It knows the socket type of my processor. Form factor, though, is one thing that is a variable here. Most of the time you're going to get ATX. So I don't want to spend a crazy amount of money on my motherboard. I usually look to spend about $120 on a motherboard. So let's look at this one right here. What does this look like? Well, that looks cool. Alright, it's not necessary to have coal though on a motherboard. So for someone starting out, I usually try to stick to MSI or Asus. This one looks... that's a ATX. That's a mini ITX. Damn it. How about this one? Micro. Where's ATX? I'm not doing ASRock. That's unfortunate. Looks like I am pretty limited on what I can get. Not doing ASRock. Well, it looks like I'm gonna have to get this one, because there's no other option. $123 it is. Memory. It used to be 8 gigs was a sweet spot for gaming, but it seems now it's 16 gigs. So I want to use dual channel, so I would say 2x8 gigabyte sticks. And I'm going with a black theme. I would want my RAM to be black. And then filter by price. What do we get? NT series. I mean, this would actually work. But one thing you gotta look at is this. I want to be a little higher. That 266 is good. G-Skill's not a bad brand. That's not too terrible. What does this look like? If I was on a budget, I would literally get the cheapest one I could get. But I usually stick around Corsair Vengeance, which it looks like be this one. That's usually what I get. Storage. Now, for a build, usually first thing you will get this. It's like a standard Cavalier Blue, Western Digital. It's like a standard. I mean, if you can't tell. But you also want an SSD. So it's only for literally your operating system. So 120 gig or 240 gig is very suitable for this. Oh my goodness, I've gotten cheap. So since it's so cheap, I would probably go ahead and get a 240 gig video card. RTX is dead to me, so for a mid-tier computer, 1070 or 1070 Ti would probably be very good to go. For someone just starting out, 1070 is probably where you would want to be at. It can literally do just about anything you would expect, and it doesn't cost an arm and a leg. 1070s will get you pretty far in life. Go beyond that, you would probably need a higher resolution monitor. This one is pretty much good sweet spot for a 1080p. So how do we go about picking one? There's a lot of them. Well, let's look at price. EVGA is good. Black Edition. Let's see what this is. Wow, that's a small picture. This is probably just fine. EVGA is a good card. Don't have to look too far for it. Most of this is matching your computer. So, for example, if you had a red or black build, you would want to just find a card that's red. But since our theme is black, this one looks like it'll be fine. Case. I usually try to stick around the brand NZXT. They primarily make cases. They seem to be pretty good. They're most noted for their cable management. The main thing you want to do is make sure the case will not choke out the computer. I could refer you to Gamers Nexus, who does a lot of videos on case thermals. So if you just type in the case you want and then go to his channel, he probably would have a thermal breakdown for it. But for the most part, cases are just preference. So what you think looks cool. The only things that really matter is, again, thermals and the form factor. You should stick around mid-tower. Full towers are for crazier builds than what you would be doing for this. And also make sure it's an ATX. You got like ITX cases and micro ATX cases, as you can see here. But for this, let's just look at price. Go low, go for rating. Here we go. You'll usually spend about $100 on a case, so we'll go with this. Alright, the next one that's always up for debate, the power supply. What wattage do I get? Well, this is why I use PCPartPicker. Look at that number. This is the full build. Everything's already in there. This is how much your system will draw. Not a lot. Not a lot here. For me, I usually try to stick around 750 watts for a power supply, and I try to stay in the gold efficiency rating. So this is actually one of the main power supplies I get. Another thing that's you should just go ahead and suck it up and get is a fully modular power supply, because oh boy, the cables. It gets pretty sloppy if you don't have one of these. So this power supply right here is actually a pretty decent one to get. You don't need the whole titanium or all that nonsense. It's just stupid. You don't need that. And the difference between like a platinum rating and a gold rating is, I think it was like literally 3%. Don't need it. So this is your build. Mid-tier, what you would want. And again, when I say mid-tier, like this processor could be comboed with something killer and it would be just fine. The only thing that would really separate this build from like a high tier is this graphics card. Maybe that cooler. That's like going over the top. You'd probably see a nice AIO and a 1080 Ti in there. And then probably the processor would be an i7. But this thing is already such a good processor. There you have it. That's how much you'd be spending. With this website, you'd have $30 of mail-in rebates, $10 shipping, and it would come out to that. And, you know, that's pretty reasonable. That's what you would expect to spend on a freaking system like this. Usually, the mark is like $1,500. And I'll give you an example of a build out. So you can go to BLD, NZXT, and the way they work is they say, all right, what game do you want to play? Well, I play Overwatch a lot. Let's play this one. Pick your price. Look at your options. We already undershot that by a mile, and let's see what they give us for $1,500. Intel, this is what they say. An H500, we already got a better processor than that. They're saying a 2070. That's their most expensive part right there. RAM, we match that. Storage, just a 500 gig storage. Okay, I don't really like that either. And I wouldn't get this card. The card is just a waste of money. And look how much more they spent. So we did better than that in my opinion. So there you have it, $1,100 for a pretty decent system. Now I know $1,100 sounds like a lot of money, but in the realm of PC parts, $1,100 is actually kind of getting close to a mark where you would actually start kind of hurting your system. Usually it's like around $800, $700. You're really not gonna have a good time trying to do a build out. The BLD website is actually pretty good. If you want to go the route of system integrator, you can actually swap those parts out for parts that I picked today. And PCPartPicker is actually not a store. It's a place that sends you to stores where parts are the cheapest. I use it all the time. That is the go-to to start a PC build because it tells you all the compatibility, it helps you match the colors out right, and it takes you to the cheapest spot to buy those parts. So I hope you learned something. Like, subscribe, and all that jazz if you want to help me out. And see me in the future, and have a good one.